Right, okay, one quadratic, one linear, okay? So I'm going to do an easy one, and the reason I'm going to do an easy one is because that's the reason I'm doing one. So x plus y equals 3, x squared plus y squared equals 9. Okay? So step one, you tell me step one, where do I start? X plus y equals 3. That's the one I start with. And what will I write it as? X equals 3 minus y. Right, that's step one. Yeah.
In some of them in the book that I worried, the way they're written out is really confusing.
Right.
Like,
Okay, can I just say, if you can do this one that I'm doing right now, you can do the one in the text. Right? Okay? So then weirdy ones we'll get next year. Okay?
is the one on the test going to be like X and Y, or is it going to be like an or and a W?
No, it's an X and a Y. Right. Okay, and you know what? If it turns out to be an R and a W and that puts you off, change them to X and a Y. Like, I won't penalise you for that. Okay? Is that right? But it's not. But just in case any of the other ones are. Right? So if you don't like the look of R's or W's or S's or whatever, change them to X and Y's. It's not a big deal. No. Because just because you wrote down x equals 7, you still got 7. Yeah, so the answer is there. So they'll just ignore the x equals and say, oh, they got it right. So you go x squared plus y squared equals 9. So number 2 means step 2. So everywhere I see an x, what am I writing in? 3 minus y. So instead of x, 3 minus y. So it was x to be squared plus y squared equals 9. So then x to be squared means 3 minus y multiplied by 3 minus y. Okay? Plus y squared equals a 9. Okay? To multiply out that bracket, you take the first term in the first bracket and you multiply by the second bracket. You take the second term, which is a minus y, and you multiply it by the second bracket. And then I have a plus y squared, and while I'm at it, I'm going to bring over that 9. When you bring over that 9, it's irrelevant. You can bring it over now, you can bring it over later. Right? I'm just going to bring it over now. Minus 9 equals 0. Is that okay? Now multiply. 3 by 3 is 9. 3 by minus y is minus 3y. Now be careful in the next bracket. Why am I saying be careful in the next bracket? Because there's a minus y. Okay? So minus 3y. And a minus by minus is a plus. Y by y is y squared. Then I have a plus y squared. And a minus 9 equals 0. With me? Right, tidy it up then. So you put your y squares together and put them first. So how many y squares? 2y squared. Right? Okay, what's next? Minus 6y equals 0. Right? So the number is gone because 9 minus 9 equals 0. Now if this happens, and I don't know, will it happen? Right, okay, you can still use the minus b formula. What's a? What's b? Minus 6, minus, be careful with the minuses, girls. What's c? 0. Right, okay, so c is 0. So you can still use the minus b formula, okay, or to solve these ones, you just take out what's common. What's common? 2 and y. What's left? Y minus 3. Okay, equals 0. And then you let each bracket equal 0. So 2y on its own equals 0. So if 2y equals 0, divide each side by 2. So y is equal to 0 divided by 2. And 0 divided by 2 is 0. If you have no cake and you cut it in half, you still have no cake. Right? Okay, it always works for me with the cake. Right? I don't know how many people say 0 divided by 2 is 2. Right? So it works for me with cake. Because if there's no cake, I cry. And I know there's still no cake. So y minus 3 equals 0. So leave the y, bring over the minus 3, and it becomes plus 3. Okay? There's your two answers, y is 0, y is 3. But if you want to use the minus b formula, do. A is 2, b is minus 6, c is 0. Okay? Right? So you can still use the minus b formula. Okay?
So then we'll have to do that if that's y equals 0 over 2.
No, because that 0 over 2 is 0. Right? Okay? So if you left it like that, you still get full mass. Right? Okay? Are we okay? Right, see this question here, right? I don't mind telling you because you still have to go off and learn how to do it. The one on the exam is pretty similar to this. Now, I don't know for sure if you get to here, will there be a number or not? Okay, because I haven't done it out yet. Okay, but if you can do up to there and then do the minus b formula, you're sorted. Okay, got it? Are we happy with these? Are we happy to move on to the next section?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Oh yeah, no,
We're okay?
Yeah.
Right, okay. The next section is they're giving me the answer to the quadratic equation and you have to give me the equation. Right? So they're telling me I had an equation, right? Okay? And I solved it. So if it was something like x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0, and you went off and used the minus b formula to solve that, or you do what I do and you do 6 and 1, x plus 6. When you solve that, you'll get x is minus 6 and x is 1. So we'll just say use the minus b formula and off you went, and there are your answers, okay?
Excuse
Is that
me,
right?
please, would Jenna Lynch come to reception now, please? Jenna Lynch.
These here are called the roots, right? Okay, so 1 and 6 are the roots, or they're the solutions of the equation. So if I just came along, and I didn't give you any equation, and I just said the roots of the equation are 6 and minus 1, right? What's the equation? Okay, so this is working backwards. So before they're up to now been giving you the equation, I'm saying find me the roots or the answers. Right, now I'm saying here are the answers, what were the equation? Okay, do you all see what I'm trying to do? Okay, so what you do is you say x is equal to 6 and x is equal to minus 1. Okay, that's step 1. That was originally, bring over the 6, it was originally what?
Minus
X minus 6 equals 0. And what was this one? X plus 1 equals 0. Isn't that right? So originally, that was before let each bracket equal naught. That was x minus 6 times x plus 1, wasn't it? Equal to 0. You know the way you factorize and you let each bracket equal 0. So that's what it looked like. And then to get back to the very start, you multiply out. So you split up the first bracket, x plus 1 minus 6 times x plus 1 equals 0. Is that right? Okay, and then you multiply out and you get x squared plus x minus 6x. Just be careful, a minus by a plus is a minus, 6 by 1 is 6, equals 0. And then put the like terms in the middle there, x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0, and that's what you started with. Is that right? Okay, so here's one for you, and then we'll move on. The answers, the roots are 3 and minus 1. The roots are 3 and minus 1. Find me the equation, please. Okay, so if you do that right now. Yes.
I don't understand this past a certain point. So
Right, okay, so have you got written down, tell me what's the first thing you wrote down?
x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 1.
Right, okay, what's the next line you wrote down?
X minus 3 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0.
Exactly, and then the next line,
Then bracket x minus 3 bracket and then bracket x plus 1
yeah,
equals 0.
very good.
And then I did double threshold.
Now you're just multiplying out brackets, so you know when you want to multiply out brackets, you take the first term, which is x, and you multiply that by the second bracket, which is x plus 1, and then you take the rest of the first bracket, which is what? Minus 3, no, it's just the minus 3, the x is here and the minus 3 is here, x plus multiplied by the second bracket equals 0. And then you're multiplying into the brackets, so call out what you get.
X raised
Yeah,
plus x
yeah,
minus 3x
excellent.
plus 1
No,
or minus 1.
no,
Oh, sorry, minus 3.
thank you. Right, okay, we got there in the end, that's all that counts. Plus, then you just put the two middle terms together, you know, they add. So then remember, this is plus 1x, take away 3x would be minus 2x, wouldn't it? 1, take away 3, minus 2. Minus 3 equals 0, and that's your answer. Is that right? Okay? Are we all okay with that? Right. Exactly, yeah. Phew. All right, yeah, you might even. You might even. Right, it depends on the year. Are they trying to, sometimes they want to throw marks at people and sometimes they want to take them off them, so it depends on the year. Right, okay, can I rub this off? Right, okay, the next section is indices. Indices I've revised already, it's the first thing I revised, okay? So your choice now, will I do a bit of coordinate geometry and I can come back and do some indices then if we have time? Yeah, will I do that? Right, because I've revised them already, but there is a whole question on indices on the paper, okay? And don't forget the rules are in the log tables, okay? And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of log tables. So if you come here before your maths exam, I'll give the first 4 people here a log table. And if you're not here, you'll have to share with the person beside you or something. Just ask the teacher that's minding you, can you share or something? Yes.
There's a huge box of them there.
Yeah, they're new though. They're to be sold to people. I could probably sneak one out and give you a loan of them.
Yeah.
Right, but they're ordered for the second years to buy off us.
Yeah.
So yeah, technically they're not mine to give out, but yeah, I could be sneaky about it, couldn't I? Right, okay, I'm on camera saying that now, so I can't do it now. Right, okay. Right, okay. Huh?
So do we just come to the box then?
Yeah, come here. If you don't have a log table, come here. If you have a log table, surely some of you have log tables. Please God. Right, okay, so if you have a log table, come here. Or don't come here, bring it with you. Right, okay, don't come here if you have a log table. Coordinate geometry of the line, right, okay? So 200, again, log table, most important for coordinate geometry of the line. So the log table scores are very important for you, because you have area and volume, all the formulas are in there. You have the trapezoidal rule, right, okay, you need to learn the form you're in, but it'll give you, if you look it up, it'll give you a start, okay? So where we area and volume, page 10. So if you go to page 12, right, okay, even though this isn't the form we've learned the trapezoidal rule in, okay, it'll give you the start, that the areas it'll give you the h over 2 bit, won't it? And then it's the first plus the last, so instead of that, you have the first plus the last plus twice the rest. Okay, is that alright? So remember, so you've to learn it in that form, but you have a start to it, you know, to give you a hint to get it going. Right, okay, the minus b formula is in here for algebra, so you'd have to get the minus b formula. It's on page 20 something, you look up algebra, and it's there, it's on page 20, not 20 something, it's on 20 at the top of the page, sorry. There, okay, Is that right? And finally, you need it for all the coordinate geometry of the line formulas, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 formulas, right? You need all the formulas except the last one on this page. That's for the higher level people, okay? So you need all the formulas on this page except for the last one, okay? Right, so I'm not going to waste time now filling out straightforward formulas because I'm pretty confident everyone can fill out the slope formula. Would that be right? Okay, can you all fill out the distance formula? Yeah? No? Maybe? And to me. Right, midpoint formula, you're all okay with that? Right, okay. Equation of the line, I'll do one of those in a minute, okay, and I'll get on to that. And also getting the slope when you're given the equation, I'll get on to that because that's the bit loads of people, and I'll revise the area of a triangle formula because that's new this year. Okay, right, so I don't need to revise slope formula, just filling out the slope formula, filling out the distance formula, the midpoint formula, and I'll do the others, yeah? Okay, so there's 5 formulas there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 formulas there on that page that you may be asked to fill out. Okay, right. So I'm going to skip all the start of the chapter because start of the chapter is just filling out formulas. Okay, so you're all able to fill out a formula and you know where to find them in the book. Right, okay, G. You know where to find them? Look up coordinate geometry there at the... Right, okay, you can all draw points, can't you? And you can all name points when they're drawn. Right, so I'm okay skipping this. If I'm not, tell me. If you want an example, shout. Okay, that's the first section. The second section is distance between 2 points. That's the distance formula. Third section is midpoint of a line segment. That's the midpoint formula. The slope of a line is next. Right, okay. There's a formula, girls, that's slope of a line now is in the log tables. It's y2 minus y1. Sorry. Now that's the formula, right? So you can use that if you have 2 points, right? Okay. So if you have 2 points, you can use that, right? There's also a slope formula that you need to remember, girls, and it's called rise over run, right? When do you use that? You use that when you have a diagram and no points, right? So for example, they might give you, just give me a sec now. One of these is quite boxy. Here we go. Right. They might give you that. There's no points, there's no scale, there's nothing. Okay? Right? So what you do is you pick 2 points. So I'm going to pick here and I'm going to pick here. Is that alright? Okay, why did I pick those points? Because they're exactly on the corners. Right? If they're not exactly on the corners, don't pick them. Right? Okay, and rise over run means instead of going diagonally, go up. How many steps? How many boxes up? And run is how many boxes across. So the rise is how many boxes up you went. So you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes up. And the run is how many boxes across you went, which is 2. So you went 6 over 2, which is 3. So the slope of that line is 3. Is that right? Rise over run. Right. The only thing I would say is, just you all know the difference between a positive slope and a negative slope, don't you? Right, just in case it's something like this, again do rise over run. Okay, so you go rise over run, but what would I have to put in at the end of this one? Well, I'd have to put in a minus sign, right? So just put in a minus sign, so just watch the positive or negative, right? Is that okay? Because you imagine yourself at the bottom of the hill. You're always at the bottom of the hill. And if you have to walk in the positive direction, remember number line, right, this is the positive direction because this is where all the positive numbers are. This is the negative direction because that's where all the negative numbers are. So if you have to walk this way to get up the hill, it's a positive slope. If you have to walk in the opposite direction to get up the hill, it's a negative slope. All right? Okay, are we okay with that? Right, okay. Right, what else do I need to tell you about slope? Formulas. What's the story with parallel lines? They have the same slope, don't they? Right, so if I said the slope of a line is a half, and then I said, well, then I started talking about a parallel line. What do I know about the parallel line? It also has a slope of a half. What if I said a perpendicular line? Do you remember? They multiply together to give you -1, but if I have the slope of one, how do I get the slope of the other? Turn it upside down and change the sign. So turn a half upside down. It was 1/2, it's now 2/1. And overall this was a plus, overall it's now a minus. Right? Doesn't matter if you put the minus on top with the 2, or the minus out the front, or the minus on the bottom with the 1. It actually doesn't matter where you put the minus, as long as there's only one minus there. Okay? Right. If I said the slope of a line was -3/2, and then I asked you for the slope for a parallel line, what would you say? -3/2. Right? And if I asked you for the slope for a perpendicular line, what would you say? +2/3. You turn it upside down and change the sign. Now I know I've written the minus with the 3. It doesn't matter where you write the sign. Right? Overall, that has a minus sign. Overall, it now has a plus sign. Is that okay? Right, if I have 4, what's the slope for a parallel line? Also 4, isn't it? What's the slope for a perpendicular line? Remember, this is 4/1, right? So that means turn it upside down, it's 1/4. It was a plus, now it's minus. Is that right? Are we okay with that? Parallel and perpendicular lines. Right, okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the equation of a line, right? Okay, so the equation of a line formula is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. Does anyone remember what do I need to fill out that formula? What do I need to fill out that formula? What do they have to tell me? They have to tell me the slope of the line. So I'll make up a slope and I'll say the slope is -2/3. And they have to tell me a point, x1, y1. So I'll make up a point 2, -1. That do me? Right. So I call this x1, y1. And then I fill in. You never fill in for x and y, you fill in for x1 and y1. Isn't that right? So you get y -1. Does everyone see where those two minuses came from? The first minus is the formula, the second minus is part of y1. So 2 minuses in a row will give me a plus. Equals m, which is -2/3, into x minus 2. Now, that will get you full marks, but sometimes they'll ask you to use it to do something else, so you have to be able to sort it out. Right, okay? So does anyone remember how you sort it out? You take what's underneath the line. What's underneath the line? 3, and you multiply up top over here by 3, and you leave the -2 over here, and you multiply over here by -2. So you take what's below the line and multiply it this side. What's above the line stays on top. Yes?
How would that question be worded? Would it just be
Find the equation of a line. Now we'll look at one in a minute where it's a little bit more complicated than here's the slope, here's the point. Right? Okay? Doesn't matter where you put the minus, whether you put the minus with the 2 or with the 3. No, it doesn't matter. You'll still get the same answer. Right, okay? But as long as you don't put it with both. You just put it with, there's one minus, so you put it with the 2 or you put it with the 3. Either way, you get the same answer. Is that alright? Multiply now to get 3y plus 3 equals -2x, and a minus by minus is a +4, right? So that's, you normally have it x term, y term, number equals 0. So bring over the 2x over the wall, -2x comes over and becomes a +2x. 3y is here already, so it's +3y. Then I have a +3 on this side already. The +4 comes over the wall and becomes a -4, equals, there isn't a thing left over there. And then you go 2x plus 3y minus 1 equals 0. Is that right? Okay, we okay with that? Right, so that's the equation of a line. Okay, so can I rub this out and show you a question like exam questions? Okay, so equation of a line, graph lines. Lines perpendicular and parallel, this is what I want. Okay, so if we look here at number 4, okay, I'll blow it up there. So I'm looking at number 4, because number 4 is very like an exam question. Okay, so number 4 is big enough for you to read, it is, yeah. Find the equation of the line through minus 2, 1. So you have x1, y1, agreed?
Yeah.
Right, which is perpendicular to the line, this line, 3x plus 2y minus 4 equals 0. So I don't have a slope. Is agreed? I'm missing a slope. I need to fill in y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. I have x1, y1, but I'm missing the slope, right? So they haven't told me the slope, but they've told me a way to get the slope, right? So it's perpendicular to the line 3x plus 2y minus 4 equals 0. So what could I do? I need to get what? The slope of that line, don't I? And if I get the slope of that line, I can turn it upside down, change the sign, and I have the slope of the line I'm looking for, yes? Right, so this is the one where you have to, I give you the equation and I ask you for the slope. So the equation here is 3x plus 2y minus 4 equals 0. Does anyone remember how to get the slope from that? Yeah, y equals mx plus c. So you rearrange it so you have y equal to everything else, the x term plus the number, right? It has to be y on its own, right? Okay, so leave the 2y, bring over the 3x and it becomes a what? Minus 3x. Bring over the 4 and it becomes a plus 4. Now I don't need 2y, I need y on its own. So what will I do? Divide everything by 2. So divide this by 2, divide this by 2, divide this by 2. They cancel and you'll get y is equal to minus 3 over 2. I'm just taking the fraction out in front with the x. And 4 over 2 is 2. What's the slope of that line now? It's the number in front of x, which is minus 3 over 2. Okay. Yes. Not one thing. It's actually the y-intercept, but we don't care about that. Okay? So the only reason you're doing this is to get out this minus 3 over 2. Right? So the only reason you're doing this is to get out your minus 3 over 2. You need the slope. Right? Okay. Now,
Why did you write the 4?
sorry?
Why did you write the 4? In 4 over 2.
4 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2.
Okay.
If you want to leave it as 4 over 2, do, because we don't need that for anything anyway. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Right, okay? But you don't need to do that because this is the important piece of information. This is the whole point of doing this. Okay? So, now, so I know the slope of that line there is minus 3 over 2. But they don't ask me about that line. They ask me about a perpendicular line. So what's the slope of a perpendicular line, please? Yeah, plus 2 over 3. Turn it upside down and change the sign. 2 over 3. Is that right? Okay. And then they told me it went through the point minus 2, 1. And it's perpendicular to that line. So that's got its slope. So it's y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. So this is x1, y1. And then you fill in. So y minus 1 equals 2 over 3 into x minus minus 2. 2 minus in a row will give me a plus. You're done now, right? Okay, unless they ask you to sort it out. So we need to know how to sort it out in case you're asked. How would you sort that out? Yeah, you bring what's underneath the line, which is the 3, and you multiply up top by 3 here. Equals 2 bracket x plus 2. Multiply out, you get 3y minus 3 equals 2x plus 4. Everything to the left, x term goes first. Does it matter? Not really, but this is the way they normally give it. X term first minus 2x, y is next, plus 3y is here already, minus 3 is over this side already, plus 4 comes over the wall, becomes a minus 4, equals, there's nothing left over there. So you have minus 2x plus 3y minus 7 equals 0, and that's your answer. Is that alright? So if I told you about one line, but I asked you to find the equation of a perpendicular line, you're able to get the slope, are you? Right, and then turn it upside down and change the sign.
What section is that?
What section is that? That is section 9.7. Right, okay. Now I just want to talk about graphing a line. Right, okay. So graphing a line means if I give you the equation of a line.
In the example, we have spare papers.
Sorry?
Will we have spare graph papers to use?
No, but I can arrange there to be. That's another thing I wanted to ask you too is what classes are you all in? Hang on now a sec, I'll just get my list. Because it'll save me doing a big job looking up roll books and whatever. 'Cause right, Grace doesn't matter because I'll be sending it home. Right, so what classes are there? Amiens, Victoire, there's no Amiens, Victoire, Loyola and Patrick, that's it. Right, okay. So can you tell me, Sarah Carroll? Victoire.
There's some people in the old staff.
Oh, I'll figure that out if you just tell me their base classes. Yeah, Sophie? Does anyone know? What? She's in Loyola. Right, Ashton Crow? Victoire. Lucy? Victoire. Carl? Patrick. Katie? Patrick. Zainab? Victoire. Kate? Patrick. Quiva? Patrick. Ashlyn? Patrick. Annabelle? Patrick. Rachel? She's in what? Victoire. Thank you. Vicky? Victoire. Right. Anya? Patrick. Orna? Loyola. Roshin? Loyola. Grace? Palmer? Victoire. Yeah. All right, yeah. Do you want to take a break there for a minute? Do you want to take a mass break? Go for a walk there if you want. Sorry? Oh yeah. Thank you. That's it.